So I think everyone in the book community can agree that this is a really bad book. So, Lightlark is about a dystopian world where a 16-year-old girl has to Hunger Games her way through the end and win the game, which is called the Centennial. Um, yeah, it's really nothing like Hunger Games at all. And the marketing really fumbled the ball on that one because the games ultimately have no purpose. I mean, they're cool and fun to read at the beginning, but then once you finish the game, once you finish the book, you're like, well, what were the what was all that for? I can't understand why all the politics in this book happen the way they do. And it's so ridiculous because everyone's fighting ultimately to have their curses removed because their curses are essentially ending their race in each of the realms, and each of the six rulers should be working together to figure out how to essentially save their realms, save their people, grow as a community, all that jazz, all that political stuff. And yet, almost none of them ultimately seem to care about doing that. A lot of these characters are over 500 years old. Why are they literally pissing away every chance they get to save their people? The heroine needs to be reminded of this at least 3 or 4 times, that everything that she loves is at stake. All the people she loves is going to die. Her friend, her people, her guardians, her boyfriend or whatever. Like, all of them are at risk in one big soup bowl, and she just plumb forgets every time. And all because of the romance scenes that are cut in between. She needs to be reminded of this every single time, because every single time it's like, I must save my people. They are in desperate need and we're all falling apart. I must win at all costs, no matter what the sacrifice is. I absolutely have to save my people. Why, hello there. I'm horny. This happens every single time. Plot, then romance, then plot, then romance, then plot, then romance, until I don't know. It's just bad. It wouldn't be so bad because that's very typical in writing to cut away to romance subplot, but I mean, we're talking about a subplot romance between a 500-year-old bad boy who doesn't have has a personality of a fish tank and a 16-year-old little girl who just discovered bras. I think the most ridiculous thing about it all is how they kind of make it seem like it's a 16-year-old could pull two guys, even though she's never had a romantic interest before at all. She's been groomed her whole life to, ew, no boys, kind of thing. And, I mean, there's for good reason. Her curse is essentially, if she falls in love with someone, she has to kill them. But her people's curse is somehow extra. There's an added on bonus of the fact that they can only survive on a human heart, which, I mean, yeah, that has some it has some implications in the book that don't really go anywhere. Like, everyone just kind of hates her openly, and nobody has a direct reason to hate her. Like, it kind of seems like maybe she'd be hated because her people are the heart eaters and everything. But, like, we're talking about people who are, like, nature Adonises. They are born sexy. They can literally get into anybody's pants, like, super easy, apparently. Um, people flock to their realm all the time because they're super loaded, because they can literally materialize gemstones from the ground. That's a thing that I guess people forgot, because according to a lot of reviews, they seem to forget that little bit in the beginning. Not that it was ever important, but she does explain why there is a trove of hearts for her people, because the people that are greedy get their hearts ripped out by hot Adonis savages. So there's that. I always did feel like reading through the book, like she was double cursed, essentially. She and her people are double cursed. Like with the whole, if you fall in love, you have to kill them, so there's that. But there's also, you have to feed on hearts, so there's that. It seemed like everybody else just had like very minor curses that would mildly kill them. Mildly kill them if they weren't careful. Like essentially, you stop flying if you're cursed with no flight. Well, you can still live a long life. The only other curse that really was pretty bad was the starling curse, where everybody's just a 25-year-old at, the oldest they can be before they croak. They die on their 25th birthday, which is pretty sad. The skylings just stop flying, which I can't imagine is that big of a deal, because you can still live. It's just, the whole we're missing our element thing, boo-hoo kind of thing. The moonlings all have to live in a they all have to migrate to the moonling castle, because literally the sea tries to kill them on the full moon, which, I mean, at least on the mainland, at least at the Lightlark mainland area, essentially everybody has to migrate into the castle to stay there the night, because the entire town is just flooded at the full moon. So everyone has to migrate to the castle. The sunlings can't go out in the sun. The nightshades can't go out in the night or they die. But like, there's no nightlings or whatever, nightshades or whatever they're called. The sunlings are people that can't touch sunlight, which I thought was kind of weird, because the book essentially it starts off as kind of like, well, if that's the case, then every single event in this book should be happening at night, like in the middle of the night. But they really don't. They happen almost exclusively in the middle of the day. So I'm just kind of wondering when the Sun King is supposed to go to sleep, because he seems to be up at all hours, no problem. Which they do, kind of mention. But it just felt weird to me, because by the end of the book, they were like swapping. Like, the night can't be at the night and the sun can't be in the sun. So they have to switch the two. Switch around, whoop-de-doo, switch the boys around, depending on the time of day. It's pretty hysterical, but I mean, it's whatever. It's pretty expected. There are parts where the author forgets her own writing. She makes a comment about how the main character has never seen the Sun King materialize a sword using the power of a starling's ability, because he could. But like, we saw a presentation of powers that she conducted. The main heroine conducted her show. When it was her turn to do her show, she literally had her best friend Celeste like get 30 people and materialize a sword. So I don't know why the author just kind of forgot that she wrote that. But there's probably a couple more I just kind of forgot, but that was the most one that spoke out to me. Um, Celeste, Azul, and at certain parts Cleo just kind of dematerialized from the story. I'm kind of wondering why they had nothing to do in the 2 months that they've been there, and yet somehow the main heroine has like a whole emotional arc of, independence and stuff in the span, while everybody else is just like doing whatever they do in the background, I guess. I think that the main heroine's vendetta against Cleo was both warranted but also kind of not. She essentially just pulled a Severus Snape at the end, like main heroine just wanted her to be the bad guy, not because there was any logical reason, but because she just she hated that witch. And I think, like, I'm totally down for a nemesis in a book, but she kind of Severus Snape too hard there, to the point where it's like, okay, it's not her. It's not her at all. I'm not going to say who it is though, cuz that would be spoilers. I'm trying not to spoil the big parts, at least in case anyone wanted to read it. Honestly, the most atrocious part of this book was the romance. That's it. That rip that out, and you have a halfway decent book. Because literally it's about a 500-year-old hot guy with a 16-year-old child, and you are reminded of it. You are reminded in this book every single time the romance starts to kick in. You remember that their age difference is that, because the writer will tell you several times. And the second romance I didn't think was very romantic in any way, but at least he wasn't it wasn't like creepy pedophile kind of way that the main dude is. And you just think, well, at least it can't get any worse than this, right? Right? Oh no. It got so much worse at the end. I'm not gonna say what happens, but it all literally confirms that Grimm is a child groomer, essentially. I won't say what happened, but he's a child groomer, and there is no way in heaven or hell that I'm going to be rooting for a child groomer in any relationship. Like, I don't care what is written in the next book. I'm curious to see what happens in the next book. I have a feeling it's going to be like an Uno reverse. I haven't read it yet. I think, like, I'm curious enough to know where the drama leads to. Like, not all the drama got resolved, which I'm grateful for, because there should be drama. That's at least a good writing earmark, is that it's not all just resolved by the end. It's honestly, this book is like trash TV. It's a dumpster fire. It's ridiculous, but you can't look away once you get invested. And I know that's not the nicest thing to say, but I mean, considering all the other reviews on YouTube, I think that that's probably an honest opinion. Yeah. I The twist at the end about her powers, I was thoroughly just uninterested in, because of the ridiculousness of, well, actually, you didn't know, but this XYZ happened, and that's why you can't ABC. And I'm like, are you serious? This is so stupid. Like, this is so contrived. she does give off a little bit entitled Katniss energy, um, which this book is nothing like Hunger Games. I can't even believe it was like marketed in such a way because it has absolutely nothing to do with it. I don't know why any of the leaders wasted everybody else's time, like not helping each other work things out and break the curse, because it felt like only 2 people out of 6 or 3 people out of 6 were actually looking for a way to fix things. Grimm wasn't looking for a way to fix things. He just wanted to get into Isla's pants, apparently. So that's how you know he's a good guy, because he just wants to jump the sack as soon as he makes eye contact. Let's see. The king was pretty much the only character who really had a shit together the whole time. And then, like, that part where Isla kind of got mad at him for essentially conning her, but not really, but like she believed it because she's a gullible teenager rather than a smart person. She's definitely thinks with her emotions rather than her brain, and she spends almost an entire part of the book like saying how it was weak and that she should be doing better and that she should be putting her people and her guardians' lives and you know, there are people in the realm that matter more than her, but like she never applies it to practice. She just has like dumb hoe genes or whatever. You know, that's typical in YA. I don't know. There's no reason why this character isn't like 25 years old. It probably would be less gross, at least a little. Because in my mind's eye, I'm picturing a 39-year-old guy get with a 14-year-old. It's creepy. Let's see. I mean, the king getting with her is still creepy. Like, I'm not saying it's just Grimm, but Grimm is like openly chasing after her panties the entire time without actually doing anything helpful to like save the situation that she's in or they're in collectively. Like, he literally could not give 2 royal shits about helping anyone but get into her help himself get into her panties. And I don't know why she's even remotely attracted to him other than just sexual like conquest mode activated. He doesn't even tell her what he finds attractive of her, so that's how you know it's true love. She doesn't know a thing about him, has never asked him what life is like for him and his lands. She's just turned on by like his raw dog energy or something, because he wants to raw dog her the whole time. And I know that this might sound crass, but like literally this is the book. Every time there's something intelligent or logical happening or some other drama happening in this book, then it jumps to being horny. And I think, you know, if you're gonna do that, that's fine and all, but like, not my book, you know? Not really my style. But honestly, romance, 1 star. There are certain times at this book that make it like a 2-star. I was really debating on the fence of whether or not to give this a 2 or a 3. I think ultimately I gave it a 3 because the drama was juicy enough to carry the story, and it does kind of wrap itself up pretty nicely, all things considered. Not the best. I'm not saying it's the best. Like I said, it's borderline 3. It's honestly more of a 2-star kind of book. Um, I honestly gave it 3 because I ultimately didn't hate reading a drama book. That's all this is a drama book. Uh, I've read books where I just couldn't finish and abandoned. Um, this was hard to start. This was really hard to start. Like, there are times when, oh, that seems like a really interesting kind of way to talk about it. But she could really benefit from being more just descriptive. Um, but yeah, her stride is definitely drama. All right, that's a good thing if that's what she likes to write. Um, like I said, I think the drama is warranted a look at the second book. Um, but I mean, from what I hear, it's very similar to a lot of other books, but so is a lot of YA. YA is almost exclusively the same as the rest of it. So I'm not super. I don't really care. It's fine. If the books can interest me and make some new drama or do some fun stuff, that's fine with me. Um, so yeah, I'll probably be giving the second book a look, but not right away. I'm going to be moving on to other books and doing reviews for them, hopefully, in the future. So stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.